Hello to all of you who have just watched the commercials, the movie that no one asked for, and sent in something like this to contribute towards it. Obviously it was my voice through most of it, so it's only fair that the other three get to say something. So I sent them the movie, they seemed to enjoy it, so well done everybody. And they sent some replies and some thanks that are all over the place, so this isn't going to be a neat editing job or anything, but it's only fair that you hear from the three more interesting characters in the band. So let's start that.
Good luck to whoever sees this. It might put you off your food, but I don't know, but if not, you know, hope you have a wee drink, that might make it better.
The reason I'm not looking into the camera is because I'm trying to, I don't know, like it feels like I'm staring at myself in the camera, so I'm going to look at that cushion.
I don't have a cushion to look at. We'll hear from Skull in a bit. Skull sent in a more potted history, which is quite good, so you get to hear everything. I'm just trying to make some sort of order of this. So first thing I should say is thanks again for sending in your pieces. You might notice that quite a lot of what you might have said for some of you has been cut out. That's because you spoke at length, which is very kind, but some of it had to go on the cutting room floor as these things happen. So I can throw in a couple of extra bits that weren't in the original edit, especially this nice opening from Mike.
The Stone Roses, legendary band, of course. Penny Lane, legendary and iconic street in Liverpool, made famous by the equally legendary and iconic best band of all time. But are either as iconic or as celebrated as the commercials? Hello, my name is Mike Walsh, music chancer and now 90s cultural historian.
Very nice of you to call us iconic. I know you were joking, but really, Mike, you know, the difference that you made to us getting noticed a little bit on the radio and things like that, and just have somebody like you backing us up meant a lot. So thanks again. I'm going to cut over now to Kembo and Scully to sort of pick up the story, how they saw it.
Aye, good times. Commercials were just really a mishmash of different influences, I guess. Pretty avant-garde, pretty experimental. You know, we were pretty new to the songwriting game, and we just went with whatever came into our heads at the time, and that's the way it came out.
Earliest memories were trying to get gigs in Glasgow. We're still called Trouser Snake at the time. Why do you not call yourself Love Truncheon? So we would hand about 1 million of these C15 Tandy tapes into prospective gig givers. Never hear anything, no joy. And then we decided, well, what we'll do is we'll beat them at their own game. We'll just have a ghetto blaster and just play it in their pub, whether they like it or not. And if they want to give us a gig, they will. What do you think happened? Not much. Until one day we were walking down Sauchiehall Street and we saw a guy painting the outside of this new venue called Nice and Sleazy. And we thought, oh, they do gigs as well as toasties. So we just done the old play the demo on the Ghetto Blaster, and it was Mig. And he liked what he heard. In fact, he set his all-time record. He listened for a whole song, which had never happened before to us when we were trying that method with the Ghetto Blaster. And he gave us loads of gigs and loads of support, and you know, a great guy, you know.
Meg. See, the young team who I'm speaking to in the work, I always fucking boast, I know Meg, you know, I know, he used to ask us, but having I'd watch you for fun meant a lot, that you would sit through, well, maybe not a whole show, but the best part of, and seem to enjoy it. And you got as the two best gigs and I was thinking about Spices Girls, another favourite. They paid in. Remember the Spices Girls? You got us to support them, and they gave us all the vodka that they were too young to drink and that, because it's once that Virgin. Anyway, Virgin made vodka for a bit, and we got a couple of crates and that.
I'd actually forgotten about the Spice-ish Girls gig. That was a night. Poor girls having to sit through our sound check and clap politely as we murdered whatever oddity we were blaring out down there. I'm just echoing everyone's thoughts. Meg played such a huge part in putting us on, and what you said about us on the film was really, really nice. I think the biggest kick that I got from Sleazy's, apart from breaking the bar take record, was it was the first gig I ever played. But also we ended up in the jukebox. The CD, you put the CD on the jukebox, and obviously it was mainly Kembo and I that would select it and make it earn its money. But that was another kick as well, and just so lucky that, you know, you happened to like us.
Fast forward maybe about a year, we're living in Suckyhall Street, above Sleazy's actually, and just putting up memories of just rainy, dark, cold winter nights, putting up A4 black and white posters that we'd photocopied down at the local, 24-hour store, and we would toss a coin to see who would be on Schlops. Schlops was a carrier bag full of family choice, high quality of course, wallpaper paste. So you'd be elbow deep in this stuff, your hand would be chilled to the bone, and it'd be like an episode out of All Creatures Great and Small. So you didn't want that on that job. That was like the back end of a pantomime horse. Fast forward another year or so, and we started, somehow people started hearing of the name, and we started getting bigger gigs and good gigs, so we ended up, this was through loads of practicing down the Carlton with Barney, Mick and Jake, who, big shout out to them, they supported us all the way, and we did demos down there with Kev Burley, who was brilliant.
The Carlton is such a special place in my memory with the band. It felt like we were there the whole time, and Barney, Jake and Mick were so welcoming to us, and like I said in the film, giving us some recording time when the studio was quiet was like gold dust. It helped us make our CD, and again, nothing but good memories of how we were treated there. Even Jake's brutal honesty, it was always good fun. Dave Donaldson was a great guy to work with, and proud of the recordings, but Kev was just, the things you said about us there, Kev, was really nice.
Kev, that's funny as fuck, enjoyed that, something rotten. You know what you can do behind the desk and all that, right? I would be in, behind the glass recording, and all you can kind of see is like, the rest of them, or two of them or whatever, on a sofa. Let's not mention the film is a constant bickering, right? So they're slagging each other. No, they're slagging you, but you can't hear them. And but they're slagging you, laughing and that, and then just arguing and that. You're thinking, what are they saying? You've just made a tit of yourself singing some fromage. But eventually, when we were all petered out with arguing, you would say, no, we would ask you, like, what do you think? And you would say something sort of diplomatic and that, but if you can judge, to have somebody else that's listening so, much that they get it instantly.
And the strange thing is, I took your telling of our story, like the fact that I would play drums with nobody else being there, and Kembo would play bass with nobody else being there, I took that as we must be amazing. And then it was only when I was speaking to McWin about the whole thing, he pointed out, no, that just means that we were weird. What kind of drummer doesn't want the rest of the band there in case they put him off? Yeah, Of course, the CD had a couple other tracks on it that weren't from the Carlton, and I'll let Skull pick up the story.
We won a competition for the What College Wallage, and we ended up working with Chris Bradley, brilliant, and he's got patience as a saint, you know, because we'd spent hundreds of hours just probably on one drum sound or something, and excellent results, you know, despite the four of us being involved, i.e. the Mercer. Him and Kev, very patient.
All the James Watt folk as well, forgetting all the college folk. Just, there's so many people that helped us at that time.
Nice to hear Kembo name checking the Wallage and Chris, who were so good to us as well, even though we won the competition. The way they backed us, the way they bigged us up, you know, we came down to London and all that, was brilliant. Although Kembo, I don't know if you might change your opinion on Mr. Bradley after seeing this clip that never quite made it onto the documentary either.
And if I'm going to be brutally honest, Kembo, this is a wee thing I should never tell you, but at the time, I remember you always wanted to have a wee bit of control over the volume of the bass in the mix, and I always used to tell you on this very desk that channel 1 was the bass guitar, and I'd bring the fader up and say, like, if you need a bit more of it, just bring it up a little bit. There was nothing on channel 1, so every time you doused it up and you went, it's magic, it's a bit better than that. Sorry, Kembo, it was another track altogether. So, but you know, you were happy, I was happy, we all win.
We also started to get good gigs, high profile gigs, through, as I said, through Mike out of Supernaturals, the plugger, got us lots of radio, who knows what Fife FM thought of us, you know, they probably think we were beamed in from another planet, but he was very kind. The Supernaturals gave us loads of gigs, loads of high profile gigs, and we ended up wee mini tours, you know, 3 gigs at a time, etc.
Supernaturals, you know, they gave us a lot of good gigs with themselves, and they didn't need to do that. I mean, they made it in their own merit, but gave us the opportunity to play in front of their crowd, and I'm not really sure how well we went down, but you know, it gave us the opportunity to see folk. So there you go. More immersials.
The support that we got from Supernaturals was odd. Maybe because I drove their van and harassed them a lot. I guess that explains why. Because we were just the polar opposite of everything that they were, or the people that came to see them would hope to see in a support band, and yet they kept giving us gigs. So well done, all the Supernaturals, for thinking that was also a good idea. I guess that includes you, Ken, although being on the inside of things, knowing how very little you had to do with such decisions, probably. As I remember it, I'm maybe doing you an injustice there. But you were always a great supporter, and it was always great to see that kind of shock of white hair out in the crowd somewhere. And so, what about a lot of the footage that you got to enjoy? Well, that's mainly down to this man.
Blair. No, you remember more of their stuff. You know, you remember that stuff better than I could ever. So it's magic to see that. Just alright. You're looking smashing as well. Jesus, not Jesus, but biblical with that beard in it. That's got gravitas.
As McWin says, that is a great beard, Blair, and your memory, your recall is up there, definitely, with everybody that contributed here. I'm kind of slightly worried about you watching all this now that you're, I don't know, are you award winning? And you basically do this for a living and have done for 20 years, so you must be pretty good at it. And I remember moments like watching MTV's Top 10 Europe videos, and it'd be like the White Stripes, Coldplay, and then in amongst all that would be a girl in black and white running around Glasgow. I remember going, that must be a Blair video, and texting you and going, did you make Franz Ferdinand video? And yeah, so the fact that you cut your teeth a little bit filming Whiteout and ourselves Well, the proof is in the pudding. There's tapes missing from what he sent me, and still the footage holds up okay. It's given us a real record that's let me build this little piece, and I'm very, very grateful for it. I know the rest of the guys are too. But like I said, we weren't the only act that you were filming back in those days.
Eric and Eric, just the Perrys, consummate pros. Having the pair of yous saying that we were alright means an awful lot, because, you know, pair of yous together was that was slick, that was beautiful, that was something that could not be done by any other two.
One of the first things that I said in the documentary was, after finally buying a drum kit, that line should have been, after seeing Whiteout on the word, I finally bought a drum kit. That's the influence that Whiteout had on me. So you're to blame. I don't know if I'd have ever get round to it if I hadn't been watching it one night going, that's the guys Alan Connell was telling me about for Greenock, and going, well, if they can do it, why not? So to hear from you both was really nice. Other Eric, obviously one of my oldest friends, and it was good fun having you in the band for a while. It was weird, you were sort of, were you there? Where I don't know. Is Eric coming? I don't know. Is he playing with Whiteout? Is he playing with us? I just remember you being there for some of the very best times. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not, you know. All I know was it was good fun playing gigs with you.
Big Eric on the keys, who's brilliant on the guitar also, you know, very talented. And they filled out the sound. Later on with Kembo's brother, the bass player's brother, he was on guitar with John, so a big shout out to him. And Shug on the drums, who came after Craig, so they need to be name checked there. And also a wee name check, because we briefly were managed by Rebecca Dunbar, who got his gigs in London, I seem to remember. But it's a big thank you to all the people I mentioned.
Yes, Scully quite rightly pointing out a few people that didn't make it into the edit. One of them's the other side of that wall was Sharon, who dipped into her overdraft to give us the money to get the Power of Love EP made. I mean, we paid her back pretty much straight away, as I remember, but we just needed money at the time.
It would be lovely if Ayako got to see it, because a lot of the stuff's hers. You know, the filming, I think the videos are possibly hers. Lovely thought to have such a spirit out there as Ayako, so if you can get it her, Marty, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Of course, Ayako, who filmed so much of what you've seen for Sleazy's and The Flat, and took photos at Ian Jury and other places, you know, as well as Kev mentioned, her footage is on the Oasis film Supersonic, because she filmed them the night they get signed at Tuts, so we're in pretty good company there. And yeah, big massive thanks. I'm sure there's people that I haven't been mentioned, and I'm so sorry, but that will get to see this eventually. But it was a long time ago. So I'm going now. I'll let the others summarise again the people that are on this that we've got so much to thank for, and especially at the end, McGuinn was quite emotional in his, and putting Chris Bradley and Barney together isn't good for an edit, because they're entirely separate parts of our history. So I'll let him finish at the end and let Kembo sign off with a very important message for everybody. Thanks again for all your kind words and sitting through this nonsense. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you again sometime soon.
Meg, two Erics, Ken from Supernaturals, Barney, Kev Burley, Dave Donaldson, guys in commercials too, my bro John, Shug, Greg,
Chris and Barney. I don't know what to say. The pair of yous are the only people I look up to on the planet, and that's the whole truth. Somebody believing in you counts for a hell of a lot, doesn't it? Makes it all worthwhile. That came out crap, but it's... I'll gush about it later when nobody's listening, right? That's it.
Meg, Mike, Supernaturals, Big Eric, the Carlton boys. I mean, first time I tasted a focaccia with creamy brie and grape was down there. You know, I've spent most of my gyro on it. I think they still owe me change. But anyway, that's it.
If anybody wants to hear any more tunes, I've got plenty of copies in the garage that nobody's bought, so give us a wee email and I'll send you some.